Yeah, it makes me think of like, like Trump. Like I think they're the Supreme Court in the United States is going to rule on him. Like so. I guess he's just going to show up for like the Supreme Court hearings. It's not the same thing because obviously this guy from the Leafs like actually gets to speak or what have you, but Trump was gonna like show up and try and like kind of intimidate and like control discourse. And then I think he realized that
No,
Supreme Court proceedings are boring as fuck, right? Like, and he was like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving."
he
Like,
did go though. That did happen.
yeah,
That
he
did
did.
happen.
Like
That
it was
was
true, like just to intimidate people, like. But this sort of seems like the same thing, but and it's similarly this um stupendously unqualified buffoon that's been fed garbage from the internet, right? Like they have no idea what's actually going on. They just have these opinions that they like, I don't know, like came from 4chan and Reddit posts, and they're like, this is what is supposed to be happening. Like it's madness.
yeah, like the buffoon showing up and like because he's such a fucking idiot, like and because he's like coming from this place of authority and also like I'm gonna replace you, that like there you it just removes the incentive to work for that person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you like the like the what de-skilling is?
De-skilling.
Like,
So
sorry, what is your trade?
I am a laborer. So you would say that this is a craft. It's not so much a trade as it is a craft. And that just means I'm a jack of all trades,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I like so
It's multiple trades.
yeah. So the end product is the finished product, right? Like so and that requires multiple disciplines.
Right.
So for example, like building a pinball machine means you need to know about like carpentry, electrics, like a whole bunch of shit. And like as a laborer, I'm building a tunnel or something in this case. And so you need to know a bunch of different shit in order to get that done. It's different from being like a trade union where like you're an electrician. Like yes, you're building a tunnel, but like you only deal with this like small part of this part of the operation. You
Right.
know,
Okay, yeah, that's I thought that that's what you were, like a specialized tradesperson. But yeah, that makes sense. I was like a laborer amongst electricians, like in the same type of way, like,
yeah,
years and years ago, where it's just like, there's laborers who are part of like the laborers union, and then you're assigned to electrician union, right? Where it's just like, because the electricians aren't gonna fucking do labor work, right? So they would
yeah. So I end up having to like do a lot of shit for the electricians because they're like, we need this shit done, but like we don't do that stuff. And then so I end up having to learn a little bit of what the electricians are doing so that I can do that job effectively, right? Like
so de-skilling is like, how like there's like the how there's like the fucking
college of trades and whatnot, or
right, and like like the journeyman system, like where it's like you're a journeyman master, right? So
yeah,
de-skilling is like the inverse of that, where like like say if someone came up to you who was like a non-union person who and like was like, can you show me what you do? Can you show me what your daily like job is? And then like they like learn about it, and then when you go on strike or when you no longer like
yeah,
you know what I mean? So then they like they're no longer like the corporate is no longer in the dark because they have these non-union people who have de-skilled from
yes, yeah, it's I understand, or uh, like instead of they create. I think in my industry they create like these alternate certifications, right? Where they're like every person can just go get this kind of like training or
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
certification, and you no longer have to go through like say a union process to like try and because get that experience and like go through an apprenticeship and so on, right?
Like someone who's working on permit, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that is like a really great way. So, but you know, you would imagine that you would go through the permit process as part of your trying to apply for an apprenticeship, and then. So I think that there's some of that where
So like de-skilling would be like, say someone who did that, like was non-union, got
yeah,
all this experience from working around unions, and then like a corporation, like say in my instance, like MLSE, then hired that person to be like a foreman. And so they have no actual experience. Their experiences, no, they didn't come up through the union.
yeah, this is interesting because
It's
um
like so that person is willing to jump on a forklift when you shouldn't be
uh,
allowed to do
uh,
that. You know what I mean? Those types of things, right?
man, we get a lot of that. We got dudes that like because of hierarchy think that they are eminently qualified to like fucking do whatever, and like they jump in a skid steer or some shit like that, and you're like, holy fuck, like we need to stay the fuck away from this machine right now because okay, I was thinking about okay, this comes meritocracy. So meritocracy has kind of like two different definitions. There's one that is like what a normal kind of sane, rational person would think. Like this person is best suited to do this job. Therefore, based on merit, they ought to do this job. But meritocracy isn't actually that. I don't believe. It takes the form of like the guy who has the ticket. That doesn't mean that he is. And I've been in this situation before where I've been a foreman on a job. Uh, there's chainsaw work to do. Okay, and like I'm the only guy with the chainsaw ticket. Okay, but that doesn't mean shit. I don't know shit, man. Like if you gave me a saw and like told me to like take care of it and like run it, like like I'm gonna kill that saw and I'm not gonna know how to fix it. Like I just have like I'm just not qualified to like do that. But on paper I am. So but that is the real kind of imagine meritocracy as a slur, and as instead of as a rational like logical method of organizing a hierarchy, right?
Yeah,
Like
because
so
there ends up being a class aspect, right? Because
yeah,
you
absolutely, absolutely.
if you have access to go and get these tickets, if you have time
Yeah,
and access to go, because like where I'm from in Sudbury, that there's like an entire place, like to get even on mine property, to get on mine property, you have to go to like one of these specialized places to get a ticket, right? And
yeah,
so, but then that's the difference is like someone who has the time and the money to go and do that, they're going to have access to that line of work. Whereas someone who's like maybe is like a garbage man, a private contractor for a garbage man or like a roadside worker.
he grew up. He was born with a chainsaw in his fucking hands. He's like grew up in fucking Quebec and like chopped down trees for his entire fucking life. And like, knows his way inside and out of a fucking two-stroke motor. Like, and that guy doesn't have the ticket. But this stupid fucking urban raccoon motherfucker ends up having to run the fucking saw and like because what like and that is yeah, this is de-skilling, and I guess that I've like unfortunately like I don't think I've participated in that like kind of like willingly, but because of the sort of like litigious like liability laden like nature of like how it is that we're supposed to conduct our fucking lives.
Right.
Like the guy that is like way fucking better, and like who knows his way in and out, like all the way around a fucking chainsaw, will not touch the fucking saw, because he is terrified that, like, you know what I mean, somehow this merit badge, this fucking Boy Scout fucking I got my chainsaw ticket fucking thing is like he doesn't have it, even
Yeah.
though, oh,
No, yeah, you're right. I never thought of it that way because you're that the ticket system is kind of a systemization of the deskilling, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
someone came along and said these are the things that you have to do to get this, and so
and
then
oh, it's 100% also like liability and litigious activity, like kind of driven, right? So the purpose of it is not that Mark is skilled at or knowledgeable or experienced at running a fucking chainsaw. It is that he has a piece of paper that says that he is competent.
yeah, and you
So
know
that
what then,
if something goes wrong, then the liability is on me, right?
but it's also that if something goes wrong, you know, and are connected to enough people that it wouldn't hurt the company that has hired you, right? Because you have that ticket.
Yeah.
Whereas someone else who might have cut their head off with a chainsaw, or someone else who's far more who would have prevented someone from getting their head cut off by a chainsaw, right? They don't care about that. It's purely just the liability. It's purely
Yeah.
just kind of what is going to reflect on the company and is the company liable for it, right?
Yeah.
And so
Not
it's
about
just
the performance of the job. It's only about liability. That's it.
yeah, and like in you know in a super industrial town like where I'm from in Sudbury, it becomes so it becomes so systemized because like say if you have a DUI, right? Then you can't get access to all of these other things, right? And so say if you're from an ethnic minority, if you're part Indigenous, so you might have more police scrutiny on you, right? And so because of that, you have a DUI and then you can't get access to these tickets to then become socially mobile. You know what I mean? And it's like generations and generations of that and yeah, I
Yeah.
never thought of that the ticket system is like a systemized version of that de-skilling. I was more thinking of it in like a way of like in the gig economy, you know what I mean, where there's such like specialized work.
And it's sort of the scab thing that you were talking about.
Yeah, but it's like in this weird way that like it's in this universe where like they don't think that people know what a scab is. You know what I mean? Where they're just trying to take your skills from you and just being like, can you just like show me what you do? So like if you're ever not here, we can like still do like the job. And it's just like, no. Like, how about no? How about you pay me 10 grand to do that? You know? Like yeah, I can go on about this or on and on. So could you.